Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to the deep dive. Does my sound okay?
Yeah, you sound all right. I can hear you.
Okay.
Check 1, 2.
This has been a bad day. Week 10 of the NFL will go down as the worst of the season for me, regardless of what happens from here in. Yeah. Everything that could go wrong went wrong today. Don't even really know where to start.
So we'll just do the disasters by rotation order.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was right away in the morning, goofy game. Thursday was honestly off-putting to start with, and then there was I had a few things go right, but most of it's just the stuff that I really believed in was tough today. And some of the stuff is just like, hey, it's Denver under, and I'm betting this because this number is going to go down. Like it wasn't like a strong handicap. It's like I'm betting Denver under because it will move. Denver unders, by the way, I think they've only lost once all year, and some of those have closed like goddamn. I mean, this closed amazingly low. Just a really sad sack team. But yeah, let's just start in Deutschland where we took. At least we didn't lay deuce. I don't know. I didn't take the points at all. We just went straight money line. Gino looked good later on, but they really had his number early. And White, he was a menace. Like he constantly in the backfield, constantly making plays. Like we saw Tampa Bay defense. We haven't seen a lot over the course of the last month and a half. That was tough. It was a step up in class, I guess. And Tampa Bay now has fucking lockdown on that division, I suppose. They're 500. That's a 2-game lead, isn't it?
Yeah. What is your current opinion on Tampa Bay potentially winning the NFC?
It still would be tough because, I mean, if they do win the division, it's almost just because Eagles-Vikings and then like there's no way to catch the Eagles or Vikings, obviously. But like for them to not be the 4th seed, there'd have to be a really strong run by them, and then Niners and Seahawks would just have to lose every other game from here on out. Like it just, I don't
Cowboys
see.
I don't. 4-5 feels like it's coming.
I just don't see a situation where the Buccaneers get more than one home game. And weird stuff can happen, and they could, a wild card could make it to the NFC title game, but it feels like the Bucs are going on the road in the second round. So you're heading to, Philly. So yeah, they kind of match up all right versus Minnesota, who is still, God bless them, has some holes. Although million-year-old Patrick Peterson sealed it for him today. But yeah, it's a tough road to hoe if you have to play the first weekend because the 1 seed certainly isn't happening, and then from there it's one home playoff game versus this Cowboys team who's getting backdoored and might lose this game if all things go wrong. And then you have to face, at the Niners, at Philly, at Minnesota, something along those lines. So playoff road is tough. I guess I have a Tampa Bay NFC ticket. We bet them earlier in the year when it was like, hey, if this team gets healthy, they have a lot of weapons. But a couple of those injuries have been season-ending injuries at this point, and that's not going to help us.
Well, they got something out of Rashad White finally today. Chris Godwin looks healthy. There was some hugely impactful plays by Julio Jones. I don't know, man.
I said this to you in the DMs. I said I think we lost this game because Fournette got hurt. Like,
sure.
I have no idea if it was just another instance of a team being stubborn. This guy's our starter and we don't care. But yeah, basically anybody who ran the ball that wasn't Lenny Fournette looked really good.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So maybe they have something there. If their running game is, passable, it's a much better team than it was a couple weeks ago. And yes, it's a team that you can run on, and we've seen that a little bit. But I was a little disappointed still in this defense.
Yeah. I guess if you bet the Bucks because you were like travel, time change, blah, blah, blah. I guess you were right. I mean, the Seahawks spotted the Bucs a 14-point lead with some pretty uninspiring play, and in the hours that were 6:30 West Coast time. I don't know, man. That was a weird game. It doesn't really change my confidence that the Seattle Seahawks can still win the West, get the 3 seed. But I think this is what we're looking at now, really, in the NFC, if you want me to paint a picture. And again, don't take my powers of prognostication, especially seriously in this moment, because I can't win a goddamn fucking thing today. But let's say that the Eagles hold on to the 1, Vikings 2, Seahawks 3, Bucs 4. Bucs host the Cowboys in the 4-5. That's the wild card game of the millennia. That's probably what everyone wants. Brady versus Dallas. My God, that's going to be all the eyeballs. Rematch of a week 1 game that I had a dead read on.
Congratulations, Fox.
You just walked away with my money at that point. But your 4-5 is probably Bucs Cowboys. Your 3-6 is probably Seahawks Niners, one way or the other, in Seattle or in San Francisco. And then your 2-7 is Minnesota versus who fucking cares. It's probably, and I think realistically, like if Tampa's round 2 is you go to a rested Philly team on the road, that's not great. It's over. But if the Niners are the 6 seed and they beat the Seahawks in the 3-6 and they go to Philly, and then you take on the Vikings in a 2-3, now all of a sudden the Bucs are looking pretty live for an NFC Championship game. At which point, if it is a Niners upset over Philly, that would be in Tampa, and you could potentially have Tom Brady v. Jimmy G for the NFC title in Tampa. What would you make that game if that all transpires?
I mean, what? Niners -2
on the road in Tampa?
Yeah.
At that point, if the Niners have
the
games,
the Niners are the wild card, they're like a 9-8
they're
team.
6 seed.
Okay, we'll make it a pick.
10-7, 6 seed. They've beaten the Seahawks and the Eagles to get to punch their ticket to go play at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I don't know. We're so far down the hypothetical rabbit hole.
I'm basically reliving last year's NFC playoffs. By the way, this is basically exactly what happened. By the way,
I know I got to set priors for these wild card teams in the future. It's complicated, but yeah, pick them.
Okay.
And that's another dream matchup. That'd be a fun one too. But yeah,
Jimmy
today
TB.
The Bucs 2-game win streak. And as the playoffs sit right now, they would be, obviously, like we said, well, this doesn't make like a sense. All right, yeah, whatever. The NFC, the wild card thing that I love so much that the NFL puts out is so broken right now. It has the Eagles as the 1 seed, the Giants as the 3 seed, and the Cowboys as the 4. That's just not how things work. Guys,
it's not possible.
That's not possible. All right, I'm done with that. So, all right, on to the noon games, the 1:00 games, the 10 a.m. games for Drew.
Oh yeah, the Giants are going to get your 7th seed.
Yeah.
That's your Vikings Giants matchup. Yeah.
I don't have my rotation number up. What was game 1 on the noon slate?
I don't know. I guess the long end of the story is I think the Bucs are still very, very, very live for an NFC championship, as are the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody else hugely suspect. Dallas inclusive, who may blow a 14-point lead to the offensively challenged Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
The first game in rotation in the 1:00 slate was Jacksonville at KC. This one went under the total to my chagrin, even though I had a massively awesome closing line value on this, closed 52. I got it on the other side of 51, and I needed a late touchdown to get the middle, which would have cashed for me and lost for the close. Awful game. I don't even really know how, but I guess Pat Mahomes moves into the MVP favorite even more solidly after winning by 10 at home.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just go counting stats, he had 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards.
A lot of counting stats in this.
Yeah, and he won again while the Bills lost. So for sure, he's your favorite at this point. It's probably him, Hurts, and then Josh Allen at this point. But a lot of games we played yet. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this goes. It looks like we're gonna find overtime up in the frozen tundra there. I didn't watch a ton of this game. It looks like they still couldn't get the running game going for Jacksonville. Christian Kirk, big day Christian Kirk apparently. Good, I guess, because you paid him a bunch, but still need a little more than that. You need more than 17 when you go play Kansas City. And at 3-7 now, this is a throwaway season because you're in the AFC. And I believe even with the super broken wild card standings, like there's 5-4 teams that are sitting on the outside looking in right now. So you're just ahead of the Raiders and the Texans at this point. Jacksonville, you can probably start looking for draft picks, and I don't know. Have fun.
Yeah. Game over. Season over. Kansas City, they're getting into, hey, we're gonna F around and just hang whatever we feel like in the second quarter and pull away from you in this game mode. They lost the turnover battle 3-0. Didn't matter. Would you believe it? Kansas City didn't commit a single penalty in this game. Not one.
Just a well-coached team.
Just a really, really well-coached team. Just a perfect game by them. Yeah, I mean, they deserve to win, but I don't think they deserve to cover. It was a bizarre game. Houston at the Giants, another one.
I looked at that long and hard before the game started.
I got some solid CLV on my over here. I played 40.5. As you can count, if you know addition, this game landed 40. Andy, there were several red zone turnovers in this one. Several.
I think there were 3.
It was awful. This was an awful watch. This is another are you at everything that could go wrong did go wrong kind of deal today. The fact that the Texans even got in position to kick a field goal to threaten the cover before ultimately not recovering the onside was
kick,
wild.
Yeah.
There were well over 700 yards of offense in this game. The brutal Texans not scoring in the red zone and turning the ball over absolutely just sucked. It was a rough watch. I guess the Giants know how to win. Giants are now 7-2. Giants are favored this week. Giants are going to be an 8-2 team potentially if they take care of business. Absolutely amazing. They are going to the playoffs. I think this was probably the win that really cinched it for them. Not that there was a ton of questions about them getting the win, although Houston got bet this week.
There's some heavy Houston money, and I don't know that it was wrong when you were getting 7s. I got overexcited, took a horrible number here. I bet the Giants -6.5, and had to sit there. Yeah, I had to sit there and clench my asshole the whole damn game because they're not the kind of team that's been pulling away and covering big numbers. I think that's probably the point of the handicap. I made more money on Saquon though, because I mean, I always do this where we talk up a prop and then the chat gets excited about a prop and then I forget to bet it. I didn't today. I bet Saquon over. I bet Saquon over rushing plus receiving. And then whatever it would let me, it's hard to bet much on these alternate total yards things, but whatever it let me on a few different ladders. Unfortunately, he didn't get to over 157 yards. That was as high as I went. So the final one did lose, but made some. Yeah.
Oh, he had 152 rushing. He only had 8 receiving. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I needed 150 over 157 rushing was like 6-1.
Oh man.
But I mean, Drew, I had over 147, 37, 27.
Was he the top rusher of the day, or was that did that go to
Fields
one of
was
these
close.
other guys?
Honestly, I think the next closest rusher was a quarterback. Because Cook had a good day, but he didn't crack more than Aaron Jones currently has 124 and might have.
Yeah, Cook had like an 80 something yarder. He did not threaten.
Cook had 119. No, 119 on 14 carries. Justin Fields 147.
47.
Your second closest.
Wilson had 119. Sack is your guy. Jonathan Taylor ended up with 147. We will get to that. We will get to that.
That was high on the rankings of which games were fever dreamish the most today.
New Orleans went into Pittsburgh and got Kenny Picketed 20-10. New Orleans looked completely uninspired, uninterested in being there, like a team that just doesn't know what they're doing with their season. Pittsburgh was bet unbelievably hard in this game. Pittsburgh opened this game +3. They closed this game 1.5 point favorites. It was all of the TJ Watt effect that was moving the market here. I mean, just the fact that they were expecting.
But then Minkah was out late. Like
this was one-way action Steelers. Like somebody knew the final score. That was absolutely crazy.
I feel like it was New Orleans fade because Andy Dalton has gotten worse as things have gone here. He's
never played Pittsburgh well.
No, and he's looked progressively worse. It was a road game heading into it. Still having a lot of injuries in the wide receiving. And I guess I didn't see it, but I certainly wasn't going to buck it because I knew a lot of smart people were not only playing, just taking the small dog, but taking them straight up when they can get like +120s. So I passed on this game, but I certainly wasn't going to back New Orleans.
No.
That felt good. I stayed away from that.
Some of our friends Suma and Pizza were both very, very high on Pittsburgh in this one. So hat tip to them. They got better numbers in the close by a mile. Detroit, Chicago is another one where they were both pretty heavy on Detroit in this game. And Detroit wins outright. There were moments in this game where I thought, wow, I can't believe people put hard-earned money on Lions after, these guys talked me into betting the Lions.
Truthfully, Drew, I'm not sure betting either side in that game could be classified as the right side. I'm happy that they won, but that was a messy game where a lot of weird things. And again, you had to rely on a pick six, which was fun. It was Ohio State on Ohio State. But that game turned on a dime there with that 14 points in a real short amount of time. And then you just knew it when they missed the extra point. Like, oh no.
That over came home, but I did not have a terrifically sized bet on that, so I was a little disappointed.
The over 48 and a half, whatever you bet there, none of that was terribly close. We cracked 60.
The most dynamic player in football right now is Justin Fields.
He's so fun.
He's so fun. He also is responsible for 6 points the other way, so he's like literally an over betting on his own.
Yeah, it's like what was Jameis Winston's ceiling? And I think we're seeing it here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, he is. And as Patrick points out, that interception was horrible. There were some really bad interceptions thrown today. The one Tom Brady threw where he just didn't
hit the linebacker and his
linebacker he just kind of leapt up lightly and grabbed that. The Fields one was really bad.
That guy didn't take it to the house sucked too. Take that to the house, buddy.
And one of Andy Dalton's was pretty bad. And then, truthfully, the one in overtime from Josh Allen, that was pretty rough. I'm not sure what he was looking at there. Yeah. Kirk. Every one of Kirk's has been horrible. And then the Tom Brady covered by Tariq Woolen. Was that Fournette? That one was the worst. I mean, just don't throw that ball, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Cleveland went into Miami and got their absolute tails kicked. Cleveland got bet a little bit, but not.
I bet them, and I guess I want to give credit to McDaniel because a smart coach just runs the ball in this game, I guess, and I guess he's a smart coach.
I lost an under on this one thanks to some busted touchdown runs well after the game was in. This was like kind of out of reach.
Yeah, Mostert
sucked.
Mostert and Wilson do a little. What was 119 plus
200 yards rushing total?
Yeah, they averaged 7.3 a carry as a squad. Without their longest run was a 24-yarder.
Cleveland's back to terrible run defense, even though they were at full strength today. Go fucking figure. Minnesota Buffalo is one we maybe need to spend the most time on in the morning slate here. Buffalo lost this game because Josh Allen fumbled a snap in the end zone. But even then, like,
I want to stop right there. Do the thought exercise. What play would you have run there? Would you have done the sneak? Or I was saying this before you got in the room to Dan. I was saying, I said I got to ask somebody who would actually know, but I would have run like a shotgun snap where he rolls out and throws it to like one of 3 tight ends who are over on that side and throw it down at like where he's got to grab it low and he falls down at the 3-yard line to give me some breathing room kind of play. There was not much room there, and Minnesota was getting pushed, been getting some push up front. That said, also don't fumble the ball.
Yeah, even if
he grabs that, the push they were getting up front, I think that's a safety.
There was a lot of fuckery here for the Bills. Like, the Bills were clearly in control of this game. No excuse to let Dalvin Cook run for 80. No excuse to have that poor of a play call on fourth. Especially because the Bills' fourth down in the red zone play call, they literally called the play that they saw Lamar Jackson fail running, and it was the same outcome. Like, it was literally like, whoa. The Ravens ran this against you and it failed. Why are you running this now against the Vikings? And it failed in the same way. Very weird. Everything about that game was it was a fever dream. I don't understand what happened. Forget about Josh Allen MVP. Forget about Bills 1 seed. Probably they're going to lose the 1 seed because of these last 2 weeks of losses. Then this one was even more head scratchy. The play before the Allen pick in the end zone in overtime was pass interference, and they didn't call it. I don't know that I really want to make a big deal out of that because the officiating today overall was awful. Every fucking game I watched, I was like, why did the officials literally just all go out on benders over the weekend and just
if we
show
put
up and
ourselves
suck?
If you put yourselves at the moment where, all right, we've already had the weirdness of the fumble in the end zone. You're at the point where they have that time left. Like, we probably shouldn't have gotten to overtime because that long pass to Davis on the sidelines, no way, shape, or form was that a catch. They didn't even look at it. Probably to your point. Like, the fact that the referees and the umpires and the review people didn't even look at that, like, it clearly slipped out, hit the ground. It wasn't that.
In watching it live, you're like, oh yeah, that's not a catch, and they didn't even freaking stop play to look at it. That was embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Yeah, so it was both sides, but it was some goofy stuff.
You can't complain about the refs no matter what you bet today because the refs sucked both ways in almost every fucking game. This was a weird week. I don't know.
Minnesota full horseshoe at this point.
A full horseshoe. How do you win this game? They could get the 1 seed if the Eagles trip on their dick at all. Minnesota
having the head-to-head loss as your only loss is something, but that's
only loss. Like, could you wake up? I mean, their schedule is not that hard. Could you wake up and Minnesota is 16-1? It's not crazy.
I mean, Cowboys, Patriots are not great matchups.
What happens in that world if the Vikings are 16-1? Are people literally putting them in this team's good? They should win the Super Bowl. We're going to give them awards. Like, is that where we're at with them?
Yeah, but who are you going to give an award to? Like,
I'm just saying, like, somebody, like, if they go 16-1, somebody has to get an award. I just wanted to understand who.
Jefferson offensive player of the year, if he has more of these games. There's no MVP candidates on this team. That's just the thing. It would be coach or Jefferson offensive player of the year. That's the awards you can give.
KOC steals coach if they
steals coach. If he ends up passing up
the refs with this fucking holding this week, it's just been so fucking bad. It's now in the Green Bay game. Like, okay, all right, if you want to call that, I guess there was an emphasis sent a league wide about offensive holding. We're gonna really cut down on that this week. Like, what the fuck, guys?
KOC means Knights of Columbus around these parts, guys.
Oh man.
All right, what's up next? That game was. I'm still processing. And truthfully, and here's another one too, where I feel like the Bills game was a game I won a bet on, because I had very much convinced myself all week I was going to watch this market closely. I was going to watch the quarterback stuff closely, and then I was going to fire. And I said, if I can get 2.5 on Case Keenum, I'll fire. And then all week, if this is 2021, all week, I know in my heart of hearts Josh Allen isn't playing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to feel that way, but that Justin Herbert thing just kept itching at the back of my brain. I'm like, what if quarterbacks start to rise up and tell coaches this is how it is, and I'm playing all of a sudden, and it's not a team's decision anymore? What if he just plays? I was 99% he's not playing. I was very baffled when that news came out. And then there was, people were grabbing threes and I just couldn't do it. I said, this feels like a fucking trap. Not like the trap that people talk about in the way of betting. Oh, there's a trap game. Vegas is setting you up. It felt like, he's active, but he's just going to be in for a few packages. And I'm going to sit here and grind. I'm going to have a 3.5 and I'm going to be fucking mad about it.
Yeah.
It felt like a bad news pick for me.
Yeah. The hilarious mixed extra point that had a 4-point final score as a possibility was not lost on me. Okay.
Yeah, Minnesota and Chicago missing extra points were big.
Yeah, they really were. That game was a fucking mess. You think Dallas goes for it here, 4th and 3? Would you? I think the answer is go for it, right?
Yeah, but
Green Bay 35.
I think
they kicked.
I think they will kick because it's Dallas.
It's Mike McCarthy and his homecoming, man.
Oh, Mike McCarthy revenge game. All right, what's up next? Why they decide?
I guess I don't have many. I mean that market, that game, it was all so fucked. Josh Allen fucked his MVP candidacy with the way that played out. Denver, Tennessee was the next one of the final rotation in the early slot here.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of this because I don't like watching games that I've bet the under on. As Dallas does not convert on 4th down, Green Bay will take over.
Well, fuck.
Sudden death has ensued in Green Bay. Dear God, this Minnesota lead in the division.
If Micah Parsons wants to do something, by all means, now would be a fine time to do that. Let's just create havoc, buddy. Go get him.
This is a weird box score too, and it's turned into teams maybe realizing you don't need to put up 40 points to beat these Broncos, especially at home. Russell Wilson threw the ball 42 times today, man.
Oh my God.
286 yards. Tannehill back helps. He was fine. He wasn't anything special. Derrick Henry didn't have a great game. Nobody had a great game unless your name is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who had a couple of touchdowns. But this is just a slog, an ugly slog. And what do we have? 313 total yards. Denver actually had more yards than Tennessee. They just were less effective. Both teams were horrible on 3rd down. Both teams just kind of horrible to watch. There were 17 penalties in this one. I'm glad I didn't watch this. Oh, I missed a full headset spike from McCarthy. That's something. But yeah, it's Tennessee. I guess Tennessee was the side here. I had some on this under. I'm just gonna bet Broncos unders until they start opening them at 35, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, Tennessee just keeps winning goddamn games.
Yeah, I mean they're still after the 1 seed. Are they the 1 seed if it starts today, or is that Kansas City? What's the current seeding?
The current seeding in the AFC would make the Chiefs. They're 7-2.
So the Chiefs 1.
Yeah, Tennessee 6-3.
Bills 3.
Yeah, Dolphins 2 at 7-3. Dolphins are your AFC East leaders right now.
Dolphins are. Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah,
Dolphins 2. Chiefs 1. Dolphins 2. Titans 3. Ravens 4.
Yep, and then Jets, Bills, Chargers.
Dolphins have a bye still coming up.
Yeah, Jets, Bills, Chargers are your wild cards right now. Chargers lose. I think they actually slip behind the Patriots, though, in this currently, but they will not start the playoffs early this year, as they never really do. But not a lot to say on this game.
Green Bay's going to win. Unbelievable.
Mason crossbar lining up. Indy Raiders. Here's the other fever dream one where it's just, we're starting Matt Ryan.
Yeah. We talked about this game a lot this week. I lost a lot of money on this game. The Raiders can go fuck themselves into oblivion. The Colts can too. They had a press conference and confirmed Sam Ehlinger will remain the starter. But ultimately, I think that they realized we can't actually get plays called because we don't know how to do it with Ehlinger. We're going to need to just lean on Ryan to be the de facto OC this week because it's too short of a week and there's too much chaos. And okay, surprise, Ryan's the starter. That's kind of my guess as to how it went down. It's a very confusing situation because as far as I could tell you, owner, general manager said, must play Ehlinger. We want to see this guy play. And then they go completely off the reservation hiring Saturday. And now he decides, you know what? The best quarterback on this roster is Matt Ryan. No fucking shit. I think my opinion about this game entirely would have been different if we knew Matt Ryan was going to be the starter from Jump Street. I don't know, man. This sucks.
It felt like there was probably some progression behind the scenes where Saturday says, oh man, we don't have a play caller. We're going to have to, hey, Matt Ryan's going to have to help out with this. And then, you just slowly introduce the idea before you finally tell her, say the bad news that you're going against his will. You say like, hey, Jim, we're having Matt Ryan help. He's going to be assistant offensive coordinator this week. And then how'd it go today, Jeff? Horrible. I mean, Ehlinger's just not getting it. He's not. This is going to be a disaster. We're going to lose 100-0. He's like, we'd almost have to have Matt Ryan on the field with him to help him run the plays. He's like, I got an idea, Jeff. Maybe we can go back to Matt. Like, it just felt like because there was talk about this all week where it was like, hey, Matt Ryan's going to be a big help with this team, and he's going to have to help with this shit. And they ended up going to him in the end, which, again, super surprise. It surprised the shit out of me. But when you go back and look at it, it's like, man, it was the right thing to do. It's just not what they wanted.
Oh man, that Cowboys loss puts a fucking cherry on my fucking week. Good Lord.
It feels like one of those NBA fuckery ones where they get fined. Like in the NBA, this is a fine.
Of course.
Hey, you said you were starting this quarterback and then you weren't.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Oh, surely. I mean, you would think that there would be some consequence. There's not going to be. They got a preferential flag all day, by the way. I watched a lot of that game. And this was classic, like, if the Raiders do something, let's go ahead and call them. And yeah, I mean, McDaniels deserves to be fired. The Raiders are a fucking embarrassment. You know what play especially stuck with me, Andy? Matt Ryan scrambled.
Matt Ryan with a 40-yard scramble.
For 40 yards in this game with the game on the line. You could, if you put him down, it's game's over. You can put this game away. You may not cover, but you're going to win. They let him get away with a 40-yard scramble, which set them up for the game-winning touchdown. Just an absolutely embarrassing effort from everyone involved on the Vegas side of things. If you told me that Belichick sent McDaniels to Vegas to fuck that franchise over, I'd be like, that's weird, but okay, I get it now. Like, that's the only explanation for what's happening, because this is not going well. Like the fact that he lost that team this quickly, embarrassment. Particularly given that this is his now, second, third try at this. I guess second and a half, since he didn't actually ever take the Indy job. Fuck all these people. This was an embarrassment. It was awful. This was awful.
It's bad. And I know last week I said, hey, maybe coach of the year or next coach fired market is maybe something to stay away from because the next coach to get fired may not be till Black Monday when the season's over. You could fire McDaniels at any point.
Absolutely. I lost count of how many key third downs. It was literally just like they blitzed and the Raiders were like, oh my God, pressure. Yeah. What? Like, yes, it's 3rd and long. It's fucking coming. Of course. Like, have a fucking plan. Like, it's just embarrassing. The Raiders got outgained in this game, 415 to 309. Jonathan Taylor looked like completely renewed. Like, he was like, that was the wake up call he needed, was Frank Reich getting fired. Matt Ryan was out there playing like, I got one more chance to keep my job. I'm going to fucking play as perfect a game as I know how, including putting myself in harm's way in the pivotal moments. He had a rushing touchdown and 40 yards running in this game. Matt fucking Ryan. Unbelievable. The Raiders tackling, particularly on some of the passing plays that conceded touchdowns, was horrific. The Raiders just in general, like, these guys, they are soft. They suck. I can't believe I fucking counted on them to bring any effort in this game. They look like they waltzed in expecting to win. Awful. Just awful.
The Devontae Adams trade looks so bad now just because, you didn't do anything around it. Like, you're not taking it and doing anything with it. But
your offensive line is trash. Your defense is utterly talentless. And, I mean, you have no other options. But there were even in that same fucking sentiment, this was a weird game. It was weird. But just a bunch of untimely, just bizarre penalties against the Raiders. Like, I don't know, man. Didn't love it. Didn't love it in any way. Rams lost again. I think we put Stafford on ice.
Yeah, you might have seen the last of Stafford for the season. The fact that there was a Bryce Perkins check-in, there was a lot of surprisery today. But Wolford, not horrible in a backup role. Honestly, Colt McCoy, pretty good in his backup role.
Colt McCoy was fine.
I thought he was out for the day too. He ended up popping back up, coming in. DeAndre Hopkins doing what he's expected to do. Rondell Moore had a really nice catch that's going to get overshadowed by all the other great catches and the fact that probably nobody watched this goddamn game. But
I watched a lot of it. It was fucking horrible. Just like almost all of the rest of the NFL product. Like, why am I watching this? Why am I spending any time on this? This is awful.
We knew about the Stafford stuff, but the concussion stuff kind of came out of nowhere. So, like, this time last week, if you'd have said it's Wolford and McCoy, I'd be like, why? What happened? Because, like, did Stafford have surgery on his elbow finally? Like, nah, it was a concussion. And then, Kyler had a hamstring thing pop up in the middle of the week, but it was fine. But then as close we got into the weekend, like, oh no, he's doubtful now. So yeah, the fact that we had a divisional game between two teams that, you needed it to claw back into this wild card race. We had two backups starting, wasn't great to watch, but at the same time, this offense for the Rams is rough. And truthfully, they didn't score 17. Those last 7 were on a garbage touchdown that didn't count for anything. I want to say there was how many seconds left do you think there were when that touchdown was scored? 7. There were 7 seconds left.
Was that did that take this team over the total?
That pushed it over. I think it was 43.
Good
Ouch.
Lord. Good Lord.
So if you had the under there, I'm sorry.
What a gross fucking game.
If you had the over, though, congrats to you. We had the Cardinals.
This one, by the way, plummeted from 45 to 38, so that landed in the middle thanks to that.
Yeah. I had a +4. Didn't need it, I guess.
Was this like, oh my God, someone literally is belly laughing at how much money they made in the NFL this week.
What if the Bills would have landed on 4?
Then someone's buying an island on this one.
People are getting rich on it. And then Kupp was injured as well, and this offense without Kupp looks obviously even worse. He was their only offense going, so this might be an under team, a bet against team, even with Stafford back, if he does end up coming back.
How the fuck did the Cowboys blow a 14-point lead, Andy? How did this happen?
I don't know. Should we even talk about that game?
Christian Watson had 3 touchdowns in this game, Andy. Christian Watson.
Fun fact, as we will delve into Andy's fantasy corner.
Yes.
I'm the commissioner of a league, and there was something going on with CBS where someone couldn't pick up a quarterback. He does what anybody should do. You text the commissioner, hey, I can't pick up Aaron Rodgers. He was dropped weeks ago. He shouldn't be on waivers. I have Kyler Murray. He's not starting. I need a quarterback. Can you, as commissioner, execute this for me? All right. You have to drop someone. You have to tell me who to drop. And you have to text it to me so I have proof. I'll just drop Christian Watson. I looked. It's not like he was going to start him anyway, but probably could have traded him after this week. So he got a good day out of Rodgers. I should check. Hopefully he won his matchup, but it just made it funny that he just picked a throwaway receiver and that guy blew up today. But yeah, Christian Watson all over your face, Dallas. Dallas had what should have been a 2-score lead as they went down into the red zone through a pick early. Ended up almost trailing at half. They got it even at half with a nice drive late. Then they built another 14-point lead for real this time and just bottled it. It's tough for me to think this team is live to win multiple playoff games.
Who? Dallas?
Well, Green Bay too.
Most Green Bay is not making the playoffs. They're 4-6. They are in deep trouble.
Sneaking in there.
They go back on the road next week. They're done. Stick a fork. But Dallas certainly didn't inspire any confidence. Yeah.
First touchdown scores. Kevin Hilmers is asking. Noops is playing Josh Palmer, Gerald Everett, Kyle Juszczyk, as somebody mentioned, Jimmy G, and Justin Herbert. So the quarterbacks, Everett, Palmer, and Juszczyk, just those 5. I'm going to play those right
now. Dak Prescott was awful for a lot of this game.
Yeah, he made some nice throws, but those interceptions were bad, and he had some bad reads. He didn't respond well to some of the pressure, it felt like. And yeah, the Green Bay offense moved a little. That's not something we've seen this year.
No, Aaron Jones had an X-ray last week on his ankle. He was fine. Guy was dynamic as ever on the ground. I can't believe this was the outcome. Dallas lost this game. Amazing.
Yeah, when they were up by 14. I mean, this was the Buffalo game. Oh, you're up by 14 against a team who's not really been able to move it a ton against you. You should be fine. No way you lose by 3 in overtime.
All right, man. Chargers, Niners, don't have an opinion. I cannot believe this game's out to 8, but it is. Niners apparently are going to win by 11 because that's what the market has said this week so far. The stuff that you're like, holy shit, I guess this is that has been right. So pass. We'll check in at halftime.
Pipkins is out. It's not good for their offensive line.
No. I also did not play Monday Night Football. Philly, Washington could not give a fuck. Let's keep moving on.
Would you? I don't know. Just looking at Washington seems a little livelier than Houston even. Just feeling Philly in these games where they're big favorites. Maybe it's a no-show spot for them again where they clearly just win. But I'm not excited about taking points with Washington on the road.
I mean, the big question about this week broadly was this one of bullshit or was this regression to the mean for everyone? Right? Like this was like a pivot point in terms of the league saying, okay, we were supposed to be this. We're going to at least try to get there. Because, yeah, I mean, turn the league on its head in one day in a lot of ways.
The slate got flipped on its head, guys.
It did.
I haven't bet anything yet.
Tennessee Green Bay is the Thursday night football game this week. You have Mike Vrabel taking on Matt LaFleur. This is now a 2.5 point game in favor of Green Bay with a 41.5 total. Tennessee's offense is in miserable shape right now. I mean, a matchup between two teams with quarterbacks they hate and wide receiver rooms that are untalented and defenses that are missing huge pieces. Tennessee going to be able to run it down Green Bay's throat all the game, presumably. Maybe they're a look at a dog price. I don't know.
I don't have a strong interest. Maybe if you wanted to put a teaser together right now, and you wanted that shit to get graded as soon as possible, Niners, Titans. Have fun. Niners -1, Titans +8. Or Niners -2, excuse me, Titans +8. That's a fun little teaser, but I don't have the right book open to do that, to get the right price. Probably Green Bay is beatable on the ground. Maybe Tennessee doesn't get a ton of respect off winning against a bad team at home, not really doing much on offense. Very forgettable game for them. Henry had a forgettable game. You know, the quarterback's healthy. Henry against a good. I mean, this was the toughest spot left for Derrick Henry on the schedule, was a Broncos defense. The rest of them are teams he can truck on. Green Bay definitely being one of them. I mean, what did Pollard do today?
Quick turnaround. Henry doesn't seem 100% right, but I can't really tell you.
Yeah, I mean, Pollard had 115 today.
Dude, I'm looking at the red number in my fucking accounts right now. I'm gonna need you to send customer funds from the exchange so that we can plug this hole. We're gonna win it back.
It never turns out bad. We're going to jail.
This is bad, man.
You kind of have the same haircut as that girl. She had the short pop. When that started coming out, I'm like, oh god, I shouldn't say that. I'm just gonna hate this.
No, it's funny.
No, I'm no interest in betting that Packers game.
Carolina is 12-point dogs against the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's coming off a bye. Carolina sucks. I get it. No interest. 9.5. Buffalo over Cleveland. Wow. Is that really 9.5? Holy fucking shit. That's a lot of points.
And yes,
Buffalo's defense has sucked, right? Really of late.
So we saw the Browns team get run on.
Good. Carr should have been crying. Carr should be crying because he was a miserable wreck today. Not a leader. I'm glad he was crying.
The Bills don't run the
piece
ball.
Of shit.
The Bills don't run the ball a ton. I guess Josh Allen does. And they added a piece to try to run the ball more. But even then, they still only ran their bell cow 13 times against the Minnesota Vikings in a situation where they had big chunks of the second half in plus game state. They still don't run the ball. So I wonder if it's not an advantage they can really press upon the Browns, where their run defense can be gashed. I'm not sure this should be 9.5. I'm tempted by this over after what we saw the Buffalo Bills defense do today, but no play on me in Northern New York this early with the weather and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's where you got to go. And 47 is fucking low for that.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think that should be bet up. I'd be fine betting with that up. I want to check the weather and be a little more sure on a few things. The Jets and the Patriots, huh?
You blew right by Philly and Indy. I guess that's not up on Bookmaker.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'll go back to Bet Online. Philly, Indy, another 9.5. 43.5. Philly.
Frank Reich welcomes his old team to town. Oh, no. Yes, Saturday will be the coach. And Matt Ryan presumably has retained his job as starter. He earned it.
Undefeated Jeff Saturday versus a Philly team we haven't really seen beat anyone good yet. On short rest, upset alert is where I'm at. Colts money line. I'm kidding. Please don't do that. But if it's Matt Ryan and JT's healthy and they run a game plan like that, they can certainly stay within 3 touchdowns of Philly.
Yeah.
This isn't the Raiders by any means, but it is still Philly. It is still Philly on a short week.
Yep. All right, let's skip that one. Skip Washington, Houston, Jets, New England. You mentioned Patriots and Mac Jones are laying 4 points at home.
Coming off rest.
2 teams coming off their byes, which is tradition with the New England Patriots. They play a team that is also coming off a bye.
Bill loves that. I don't know why.
Loves it. let's give him a little bit of credit for it, I guess, and lay the Patriots. I don't know. The Jets suck. This is not a good team. Wilson is not a good quarterback. He's going to throw them out of this game, presumably.
The Jets without Brees Hall obviously are a way different team.
I guess I'm just going to lay with Patriots.
Success.
I'm probably going to lay with Patriots, but I don't care if it's 4 or 5.5. So I can just wait until limits go up a little bit, I guess. Detroit Giants. Got a read here.
So both teams were lucky to cover today, I think. And I bet the Giants. I got that money. I'm happy that they did, but I still don't know if they deserve to win that game by more than 3 points, truthfully, once it came down to it. Giants games have all been based on just things like that, where luck comes into it, where it's, hey, here's a turnover just in the perfect spot of the field for this game to. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody was yelling outside, but I mean, think about the Seahawks game too. Like the Giants had luck go the opposite way, where they took 2 possessions away on those fumble punt recovery fumbles. Like it was same kind of thing today too with the Texans. Just some really poorly timed turnovers for the Texans. Otherwise, they probably stay within a touchdown. So I don't know if the Giants are actually all that good. If you go up against a team with a bad run defense, though, just they're gonna run Saquon 30 times.
Yeah. I don't have a strong take right now, but god damn it. I kind of want to back the Giants. I mean, the Lions at 3.5, because I feel like that's a field goal game either way. Rams, New Orleans. So we have 2 teams who have quit. They're playing each other in the Big Easy. Thanksgiving is on the horizon. They're probably thinking, making plans, spend time with family. 2 basically recently eliminated teams, and one of them is a 1.5 point favorite. Do you get an honest effort out of either the Saints or the Rams in this contest? And do we expect more John Wolford?
That's definitely something to monitor. That's a big downgrade. I think the most important thing is to watch for Cooper Kupp. If there's no Kupp, it doesn't matter who's in at quarterback. And if it's no Kupp and you're Stafford and you're marginal, they're like, yeah, I'm still hurt. I'm good, guys. Like, what's our record? Oh shit. All right. Yeah, the Kupp injury looked bad. I think that's high ankle. I think he's probably done for a bit. Maybe the season, honestly, put him on ice. There's no reason to get him hurt. So this total's 39.5 for a reason, guys. I still might tickle down. I'm half tempted to take this under.
Yeah. Atlanta is 2.5 point favorites, almost 3 point favorites against Chicago. Totals 49. Finally giving respect to some Chicago Bears totals. Awful game.
I think the total might be a bit high, but I'm certainly not going to bet an under in a Bears game. Just it's high enough to keep me off it, but I won't be going the other way. I'm not sure I'm super trusting with the Atlanta Falcons offense, even against a bad defense here, to put up a grip of points. Like if this goes over, it's a Bears blowout. I'm not sure we see a Falcons offense that just throws up 30 on these guys. It is at home, I guess, maybe, but they will run effectively. It'll be a close game. No interest in the spread. I don't know if anyone should be favored here. This should probably be pick 'em.
Interesting.
Looks like the Legals are hanging a 41 on that Rams Saints game. Yeah,
Under City.
I would take that under. That's a bit off market. Yeah, there's some stinkers. Like Raiders-Broncos is a really rough one too. What's the Raiders record right now?
2-7.
Excuse me, the Broncos.
3-6.
Yeah, so another couple teams that are well out of it. with first-year head coaches, probably the two most likely head coaches to not find themselves on the same sideline next year. They got to be. I mean, these coaches got to be playing for something, but you still got to motivate a team that you may have lost the locker room for.
Raiders rallied and played hard last time they played the Broncos, got a win. This one now is in Denver. Denver is 2.5-point favorites. Both these teams suck. Both these teams can die a slow death. Pass. Chiefs take on the Chargers. So we got a rematch of the game that ruined the season, where where Justin Herbert got hurt and the Chiefs won a game they should have lost. Would have made things so much more interesting. Chargers now go to LA as 7-point favorites on the look ahead.
They don't actually have that up live at anywhere. I don't know if someone has.
We'll get that number. We'll get that number before we'll talk tomorrow on that one. I think Dallas, Minnesota also is insane. I'm not sure why that's off the board at Bookmaker. Can you imagine?
So here's the thing.
Somebody get hurt?
Not really. I didn't see much for Minnesota injuries. Like Dallas, I don't think there was anything late that mattered. I mean, Gallup is always hurt, but
last time we played this game, Josh Allen had a UCL injury that was going to keep him out 3 weeks.
Yeah. So it's on Bet Online. The Minnesota Vikings defense is still not good.
I mean,
are they going to hold Dallas?
They're opportunistic. Patrick Peterson's taken something that got him playing well.
Yeah, he's well ahead of the curve on drug testing right now. That was just a poorly thrown ball. He just kind of ran in front.
But he's playing well outside of that.
Yeah, it helps. I'll have to ruminate on this a bit. Minnesota, it's funny, being as good as they've been on the record and still can't be a home favorite against a team that just lost to Green Bay. Total seems a little low to me, but I'm going to have to ruminate on that a little more. Bengals, 5-point road favorites to the Steelers. No Chase still.
Steelers won the first game of this.
Yeah, not only that, but the Steelers with Watt back maybe have a semblance of a pass rush here. Are you betting the Steelers for the second straight week? The Steelers a bet on team?
I mean, they're 3-6. They're very well out of it, but Mike Tomlin is playing for a 500 record. So they're trying to win games, Andy.
I don't care how bad the team is, too. He's not a lose the locker room kind of guy. He just garners too much respect, I believe. Where do you think this market goes? I kind of want to bet the Steelers here because I think their pass rush is enough to keep them in this game, and they lose by field goal a lot. It's a 5, though. God, what a dead number. I'm gonna wait and watch this. If I see steam one way or the other, I'm gonna further evaluate it. But I'm interested in Pittsburgh. I don't think right now they're a touchdown worse. It's close.
6.5-point dogs on the road week 1. And Cincinnati's gotten better and Pittsburgh's gotten worse since then. So I don't know.
Yeah, just matchup wise, the fact that there's a pass rush going on and that seems to completely befuddle Cincinnati. Like, oh no, they're allowed to try to tackle our quarterback.
This is probably a fair price, if anything. Pittsburgh's aside, I think you're right.
If this gets bet out to if I get a 6.5, I'm gonna have to snag it.
What got flexed into the primetime? KC? I think it was. KC got flexed in primetime. Cincy Pittsburgh's in the afternoon now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. I don't think not a lot of strong looks there.
I kind of want to become a World Cup podcast for a month or so because I need a break from the NFL. There's no edges on any of these games, and the way that today broke coin flippy wise was extremely depressing. So
the highlight of my day
I
was
just want to back off for a while.
the highlight of my day was Calhoun photoshopping me onto Guy Fieri's face.
Oh, can you send me that?
It's the group photo of FSM right now. So you'll see it. Yeah, he just changed the group chat to my picture. Again.
Oh, that makes me feel better immediately.
And then let's we can do some World Cup talk this week.
I like this one. You and Guy Fieri are related?
Oh God, thank you, Dan.
That's actual Guy Fieri.
So I watched Diners. I watched the show that often. I watched it the other day.
Actually, Guy Fieri. Where's the one with the end?
Did I tell you this? I watched Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives the other day, and they were in Sioux Falls at a restaurant I've actually been to. Yeah, okay. That's just Guy. Now show me the Photoshop.
Yeah, Guy Fieri one. Do the Photoshop one now. That's incredible.
Canada 250. Well, hopefully it's a cash out.
Incredible. Who's the really good Canadian player who hurt his hammy is out for the World Cup?
I don't know the names of the
players. You know who
I'm
talking about, though, right?
Yeah, if they're not European or from Brazil, I don't really know them.
I think he's a Bayern Munich kid, and he's not going to play or something. Canada's in deep fucking trouble.
Honestly, I might look at a parlay of all CONCACAF teams to not advance.
Ooh.
It would be basically Wales would take our spot, Canada and Mexico would fail, and then what's the last one? Just Costa Rica? Yeah, Costa Rica is already I have if you've watched Brown Bag on Friday, I put together a parlay of basically.
Can you give me a little bit of a primer on where your feelings are?
It's hard. Like there's 5 or 6 teams that can legit win. I don't think betting a team to win is a good idea. I put a little on Germany,
and there's no potential bias in the path.
Dude,
there always is. That's the angle.
You know how much money Pinnacle's taking on sides for this? Like,
yeah.
Follow the steam, and probably just play that if you agree with it.
I don't know, man. Isn't it like every one of these games is basically like a Super Bowl market?
Yeah. They're gonna take 6 figures at half, or 7 figures on every game. Like, okay, so that'll be their limits. But yeah,
so no, realistically though, what were some of your thoughts?
I bet a couple teams where, and maybe this was the wrong way to look at it, but teams I like to win their groups, but I took them to go to the quarterfinals, because if they do win their group,
then it's coin flip that they win that game.
Well, then they have an easier match in the round of 16 because they'll be playing a runner up, and there's a lot of spots for them to, like, you know, one of them was, it was like, hey, you'll play the Wales or the US if you win your group. You're going to the quarterfinals. And so instead of like 3-1 to win the group, I played 4-1 to get to the quarterfinals because for the most part, I think worst cases, they get second, and then you're not dead. You're in a bad position, but you still have a chance to win that game against, you know, a better team. So I ended up on Uruguay and Senegal to get to the quarters.
You think Senegal can win Group A?
Yeah. I ended up going with a couple of just fun.
I already feel better not talking football.
I donated money on Golden Boot. Golden Boot is the worst. It's some guy that scores like 6 goals in the group stage and then just coasts. Like last time out, it was Harry Kane. He didn't score in the last 3 matches because people were like, well, look, Harry Kane won, and they made it all the way to the 3rd place match. He had the maximum amount of matches. He didn't score in any of the matches that mattered. Like he had like 3 against fucking Turkmenistan or whatever in the groups.
You tell him.
So, well, it's so hard. Like, take some long shots on that. So I played Benzema, and I made Pete give me one. He gave me Vinicius Jr. I figured I should have a Brazilian, even though there's like 7 guys that'll probably have 2 goals. It'll just be spread around there. So Uruguay to win their group and then go to the quarters was probably my favorite look because Femi agrees with it. So did Food Snob.
Uruguay. Is Suarez suiting up? Is he off his suspension for biting?
I think the suspension has lapsed at this point. So, all right, what day of the week is it? What channel is this on? So on my other TV, I have an Amazon.
Dude, do you know Suarez
NBC.
is on the squad? He's the most capped player.
I have NBC, Amazon.
Oh man, I'm sorry. He is not the most capped player. He is the second most capped player. Do you have a guess as to who the most capped Uruguayan?
That goalie that got shot?
The goalie that got shot is the third most capped. He has 133. Suarez has 134. The most capped with 159 is the team captain,
Cavani?
Diego Godin, defender. Now plays for Vélez Sarsfield, the Argentinian team.
Why would I want to watch the Washington Capitals? Why am I on ESPN? This game isn't on ESPN.
Diego Godin was, of course, at Inter Milan for a while, Atletico Madrid forever. He played at Atletico Madrid for 2010 to 2019. Villarreal, yeah. Godin is your team leader for Uruguay. Best of luck to you. He's a million years old. The
Not worried about most capped.
The goalkeeper, Fernando Muslera.
That's my last look, and then I'm going to go watch football.
He's been the goalie at Galatasaray since 2011. How about that? Anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
The goalkeeper, and Dan pointed out that he's not in the best of form in the EPL right now, but Edouard Mendy, he's Chelsea's goalkeeper, he's Senegal's goalkeeper. I just looked at like the markets for like to make the finals, and Uruguay was like, Senegal was like 25-1 to make the finals, but Mendy was like 80-1 to win the Golden Gloves.
That's insane.
Like, and I'm like, if they make the finals,
that's why
he's getting a look, and he's certainly one of the best goalkeepers in the tournament.
No, it's thanks to him.
Yeah, I mean they'll need some offense, and they need Mane to be healthy, but like this is it's a thing. Like if you love a team to go deep and you want to bet them to go to the semis or to the finals, look at some of the awards as well. Because I'm not saying take all your money and shift it to the award. I'm saying split it up. So I think if you like Senegal to go deep, you like Edouard Mendy to have a look at the Golden Gloves. And with that, it's football.
I love this, man. People want a little bit of Super League content, so I'll leave it up to you because my thoughts. I mean, I can't give out my edge in the Super League. It's too valuable.
That stuff's under lock.
It's too valuable. Top scorer in the Super League this year? You got a guess?
Oh, who's the good guy from Casempasa?
It's not him.
Okay.
It's Fenerbahce's Ener Valencia. He is Ecuadorian. He has 12 goals this season so far.
I like Dan's guessing.
Here's a real Haji Wright is number 2.
Yeah.
9 goals this year. 4. Antalyaspor.
It's the fucking. It's just all the goddamn Istanbul teams. Look at us.
Clowns.
Yeah. So.
All
right. With that, we're going to call it a night. We'll be back at half. We're just going to have 3 or 4 more glasses of wine. I'm going to catch up and figure out how this team scored. Who scored?
It was Carter.
DeAndre Carter. Fun fact, Ener Valencia faked an injury in a game to avoid being arrested at the game for failure to pay child support. Playing for the national team.
Tells all the time.
He was watching that game a lot. Yeah.